because it's always just us making stupid shit like conversation like this, and not like a proper, wow, we're starting streaming now. And of course, I've done the same thing exactly. Yeah, I've done the same thing now. Let's pause that. That needs to come over that way. And cool. We're ready.
There we go.
Right.
That'll do.
Give it 30 seconds.
Right,
30 seconds for people to trickle in.
Yeah.
Right, they've got.
Did you put it in? Put it there.
Confirms the support of AOC now, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
So, inside strats.
Alright. So I'm looking at the documents you made.
Yeah. I haven't put much for AOC because I am supposed to be their coach. I didn't feel like giving away too much.
Cool, right. We are good to go, believe it or not.
Right, yeah, there's...
Still wins in general.
Right,
okay.
Hello. We are finally back after, what was it? And it felt like almost a month break.
2 weeks.
Oh, was it 2? Oh, okay. 2 weeks.
I mean,
I mean from the league, yeah. At least a 2-week break, and we are back finally, casting a new split of games. Of course, game 1 we have Art of Chase versus Hit or Miss, and our second game of today is the Generation Prodigies versus Valkyrie 5. I am joined today with our new camera screen by Gabblit and Mr. Oldie. Welcome to you both.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so we've got AOC and Hit or Miss first. We have seen AOC before. Give me the rundown.
We haven't seen Hit or Miss.
We haven't seen Hit or Miss.
So AOC we've seen before. There's a slight change. Inside knowledge, we've got Horns is going to go mid and Confirmed is going to be going support. I think this is mainly just a change to help the synergy in the bot lane. So we'll see how that goes for them.
I know you're trying not to give too much away as the coach of AOC. I know you're probably rooting for them to win today.
Hands off, coach. No, I've got to be completely
Professional.
Professional, exactly. I can't root for anyone to win.
Okay. Mr. Moldy or Alex, you've done a little bit of scouting. Based on what you've seen so far, does any team stick out to you? Because I think this is your first time seeing either of these teams, isn't it?
I think I've seen Art Chase before on one of your streams, but I'm looking towards the Smurf in quotation marks of Buffalo Goose, seeing how that's going to work out and see what's happening with that one.
We've just lobby's
That's
just
nice.
broken. It's fine. I'll give you an invite.
Happens sometimes.
But yeah. So the jungle you were saying.
Yeah. So see how the Smurf account is actually going to come out.
Or what we assume to be a Smurf account.
What we assume to be a Smurf account, yeah.
I can't invite you to the game. So.
Could just be they don't play much.
Yeah, was
Could
this
be.
what was
But
it?
with a very similar name, it's kind of hard to believe it's not a
the
Smurf
Buffalo
Yeah.
Goose
Oh,
and
yes.
Buffalo Goose 2.
Yes, so, and the best thing is they have the same champ pools. So we've got a bit of cloning. I would like to hear from them after the game how they actually managed to clone themselves. You can see they even have the same rank and a similar number of wins.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, when it came to doing our scouting, and I got to doing Hit or Miss, and I came across Buffalo Goose 2. And literally my notes are question mark, looks like an alt. And that worries me.
They both pretty much play top lane, the Renekton. They have similar stats. It's kind of interesting.
Interesting indeed. So we've got a little bit of problem with Hit or Miss's roster coming in. No idea who their jungler is. No one knows.
Oh no,
Whilst
yeah.
we're here, we can briefly talk about our second game today. Generation of Prodigies and Valkyrie 5. We've seen both of these teams before, actually. Valkyrie 5 months ago. I say month, I think it was like a month and a bit ago. And I can't remember who they were against, but they were there. And I think they've only got 2 members of the roster that are still the same.
O'Neill and Helicopter Driver, I think so. Are still the same in the original roster.
The rest of the roster is brand new, so that'll be interesting to see. They, of course, played it yesterday, but we are casting that game via the replay files. We won't have champ select for it, so we'll have to do some post-champ select, just sort of insights.
Yep, I have to like pause for a moment and...
a Generation of Prodigy, I actually saw them last week, wasn't it? 2 weeks ago? In a scrim against, was it SAS?
I believe so. They're also in the other side of our own bracket.
They are, actually. So yeah, Generation of Prodigies, we saw a couple weeks ago, slight roster changes there. We've seen Jeopardy move from jungle to support, has some new jungler come in, and support has just vanished from thin air.
It'll be interesting to see how that goes for them. Putting someone who's a jungler into support when they're not really a support could hurt the team quite a lot. So we'll see how that goes.
We will see indeed. Somehow we've lost players in the lobby. We've gone from missing 2 to now missing 3. But it's a different set of players.
Looks like it.
But yeah, we just had the lobby remake itself, so a little bit of a delay going into champ select. I'm going to bounce back to AOC and hit or miss now. Seeing players coming out, that's good. Is any player, aside from the one and only Buffalo Goose, number 2, standing out to you? I know you're trying to not give away too much about AOC, Gavin. But is there any insight you can give us? Trying to like tease it out of you now. Of course, not giving away too much for hit or miss, but just in case. Is there anything?
I think you're looking for, in terms of hit or miss, you're looking probably at a team that's going to just play through mid and try and win through that mid. I can't see any other reason you'd go through a different lane. Unless they've been practicing and something else happens. The bot lane, Vivify, Vivi, I shall call them from now on.
Yeah, Vivi sounds good.
Vivi. Seems to be quite good at CSing and tends to create the early leads through CS, not through kills, so I would expect not too much to be happening in the bot lane, especially since Nasty also took some time off from League, has only come back today. So I wouldn't expect to see too much going on in the bot lane.
Yep.
But you never know.
Yeah. We will find out. Yes, we do know that RC Fox did have a unplanned break from League.
Yes, an unplanned break. A nice way to put it.
Unplanned break is the way I'm going to phrase it. But yeah, back today. Both teams are in, so we'll just be... I'll let them know we are ready. Okay, just let them know ready. So, different players on the side of hit or miss are... Isn't it? It's support and jungle. And as we mentioned, they are real big for when it comes to just your whole team synergy. So I'm interested to see how that goes. Let's move us over to... Oh, just got ready checks coming in. Good. Sorry for the slight delay here.
Interesting point. Glory GB is a level 25 account, as you can see, so...
We've seen Glory GB before. I know, I remember this.
Kind of interesting.
Yes.
I'm not really sure what they play.
We're in
the looks of it. A lot of different stuff. So in terms of bans, what do you guys think? Are we going to see anything specifically you want to see banned or think will get banned?
I think when it comes to banning into hit or miss, it's hard because new players and questionable alt account.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still, personally, I think it's quite obvious you ban the Renekton if you're not 100% comfortable with playing into it.
Is there anything
I don't ban anyone.
Yeah, actually gonna sacrifice their
There's
first
the
man.
Renekton.
Yeah, Renekton going in for manning to...
Good Sticks is one that Casa likes to play, so they're targeting their bans towards the jungle, think that the jungle's a key part for AOC getting ahead. Lucian ban, I'm assuming, is because Faux Show is support. I'm not. There is a Lucian ban coming out. Maybe something I missed in scouting. We'll note that scouting I did was like 2 weeks ago, so potentially any of these players could have been spamming something and we won't have picked up on it. Amumu's another one of Casa's big champions.
Yes, yeah, so
definitely another. Yeah. I think at the moment with Art of Chase, it seems like there's a weak point in the jungle, and that's why they're focusing on the jungle picks.
Nocturne, it's another jungle pick being banned out. Just a very annoying champion. I believe Glory GB is going to be the jungler. He has played some Nocturne games recently.
Yeah, but obviously
also
Nocturne
denies.
It's been very efficient. In the games we see Nocturne in this league, he's been very efficient at snowballing. So usually we see them pick one lane and just say, okay, I'm going to snowball mid, or I'm going to snowball top, or I'm going to snowball bot. And we see it often like match with the Galio, and it's really hard to match those double global ults. But yeah, first pick we do see Olaf locked in, most likely for... we figured it was going to be Glory in the jungle.
Yeah.
Strong early game jungler. Lulu is a great pick, especially if you can get away with picking Lulu and get away with that lane phase. I think into the bot lane of hit or miss, it's a very good pick. They don't look like a lane that's going to be trying to kill you early.
And this is an interesting pick with Lulu as well, because this is also played by Horns, which they can always flex in what position they're going to be playing, because they're mid and support, and they both play
That's
Lulu
very true.
in the bot lane.
Yep, so that is a flex pick coming out from Art of Chase, followed by the Jarvan lock-in for Casa. I'm not surprised to see the jungle lock-in come out this early, considering how much of their bans that hit or miss invested in Casa on the jungle. Obviously,
Jarvan is... Yeah, getting that pick. Obviously, Jarvan's a good counter to Olaf. You ult the drag out of your own ult, and you just lock him in. And unless he wants to flash, he's then stuck there for the duration of his ult.
Yes, one of the...
Oh, that might be kind of difficult when you got the Shen on the enemy team as well. As soon as the Jarvan goes in, Shen taunting the Jarvan in there, it could be a bad situation for the Jarvan locking in with a Shen and Olaf.
Yeah, I do like the Shen pickup here. As you said, it can help to shut down this J4's engage and help Glory on that Olaf just to run through, because there's very few things that can shut down an Olaf once that Ragnarok is running. And the Cataclysm from Jarvan is one of those few things. If they can pull him away and shut him down, that is really going to hurt AOC. Ryze and Urgot being our last two lock-ins. Urgot, of course, for... Jaeger in the top lane. They haven't organized themselves into order, so I'm having to like flip down the corners like, wait, who's top lane again? Jaeger in the top. I'm not familiar with the Urgot into Shen matchup. I can't imagine it's going to be crazy, interesting one to watch. It feels like it's going to be very slow paced.
No, bit of a throw off here, because I hadn't picked up on Buffalo Goose playing any Shen. I hadn't picked up on Buffalo Goose 2 playing any Ryze, and I hadn't picked up on I didn't know Jaeger could play it Urgot. So we're getting all sorts of interesting picks coming out.
I had Shen down for Buffalo Goose, but
yeah, we have Jaeger can also play the Shen. He's quite comfortable in the Shen, so it could also be a denying pick for Jaeger in the top lane.
Very true. 380 carry bans actually coming out. And with Morgana going on to hit or miss as well. I've got that same situation that I have every single week. So on my notes, Art of Chase are on the left and hit or miss are on the right. And so when I'm reading, I'm looking on the left and thinking, yes, left, wait, no. And it's just...
So, yeah, Ashe is just a comfort pick for VV. And Ashe is very good right now. Fair ban. And you've also got the Kaiserban coming out against Nasty, which is by far his most comfort ADC pick. So I'm not too surprised by that.
Not be surprised to see the Ezreal pick from the hit or miss at the moment, especially the team comp they're going and banning out two of the champions that actually can get on top of the Ez or doing damage from a distance. I would not be surprised to see him being picked up.
Both teams leaving AD Carry to the last lock-in. I'm surprised to see AOC give AD Carry the counter pick of Red 5 here. I would have much more expected to see that go on to Horns in the mid lane after we saw that lock-in earlier.
It could be because Fox also does play Vayne and wouldn't want to get counterpicked by the Caitlyn, so this does show that they're playing Caitlyn. So you don't pick Vayne Callista into it. This has
Dravenhover? I didn't have Nasty Fox down as much of a Draven player, but I'm ready to be surprised. Oh, switch to Jinx, basically.
Jinx, I think that makes a lot more sense when you've got a Lulu Orianna to keep you alive in the Jarvan Urgot.
Yeah, much more. So we've got the Lulu and the Orianna, as you said, both very good at enabling this Jinx to just reach her 2-3 item spike and just start popping off.
Yep, you got a sort of classic front to back team fight style comp from Art of Chase here. On the other side, it's a bit of an interesting one. You've got an interesting delivery system where the Ryze can ult the Olaf in and Shen can ult onto him to get in towards the back line, but you've got a team that really wants to sort of go forwards on the side of hit or miss. You don't really have much of a massive front line. The Shen will be very good against Jinx and Urgot as a front line, of course, but your W only lasts so long. Interesting comp. More of a poke split push comp.
Yeah, the two drafts do... They're... I mean, of course, you said Art Chase did pick this very traditional front-to-back comp, and the much easier comp to execute. Now that you're not going to be revealing their picks, do you know if this is something that they've been practicing?
I don't know, and of course, Nasty has been away for a while, so they have not had much practice.
So maybe that is part of the reason they go for this easier to execute comp. Hit or miss? Actually, I quite like it. We talked a little bit about the power of the double globals, but we talked about Nocturne and Galio. How do we feel about Shen and Ryze?
Shen and Ryze.
With an Olaf as well.
To me, the Olaf stands out here as not belonging in this comp. It sort of doesn't seem to fit with what the rest of the comp wants to do, except maybe the Shen and Ryze ults can help with what Olaf wants to do, which is run into the backline. But your Lux doesn't want to be running forwards into the backline, really. Caitlyn doesn't really want to be running forwards into the backline. Debatable, but Ryze probably doesn't want to be running forwards into the backline. It doesn't really fit with the rest of them. It could just be to help pull them through, help pull Ryze and Shen through the early game.
There's a lot of interesting plays you could do with the side of hit or miss, especially with like an Olaf just taking ultimates, especially with his Ragnarok going into the Jarvan, distracting the Jarvan and the Urgot, let's say, or like the Lulu's all full focus on that Olaf, for then the Shen to come around the side, or the Ryze ultimate coming from the back line. It can be a distraction almost.
Yeah, I'd like to see how they play this out, because we have seen AOC. They've drafted, I don't want to call it a wombo comp, but it kind of is. The Shockwave, the Cataclysm, and the Wild Growth from the Lulu, all stacked up together. That's a lot of damage and a lot of CC. And if they can catch hit or miss with this...
Coming to that is very low magic damage comp on the side of AOC though. You're really relying on that Lulu Orianna for your magic damage, which there's burst on Orianna, sure, but when you've got a Shen who's stacking health and armor, you're not going to be bursting through the Shen.
And towards the late game, if you have a Ryze and a Lux doing the burst against an Orianna's not going to have enough sustainable damage to outlast a Ryze or Lux.
Definitely not the Rise. Lux, it depends very much on the skill shots. Yeah, you got a very heavy poke component as well on the side of hit or miss. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, here we go. Getting into the load screen now. Take a look at all runes, see if there's anything that stands out here. As for early, are we expecting any invades from either of these teams? Although I think my Discord did just die, which is
Hit
10
or
out
miss.
of 10. There we go.
They could have the Shen Taunts and the Lux Q. It's entirely possible that they go for the invade. Their level 1 is fairly strong in comparison because of the extra damage you bring in with the Lux passive and the strength of the Olaf axes and the CC that they bring in comparison to Auto Chase, which have relatively no CC level 1. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of invade just to see what they can get, but I don't expect them to hard commit to anything.
Yes.
If Art of Chase go for their CC in the early game, such as Jinx's choppers or Got's like knockover himself, I think it's his E. They're gonna be pretty much screwed for the laning phase.
Yeah, it's gonna very much hurt them. So, it's game.
Doing a quick browse over runes. Nothing stands out too much. Just to cover, because my overlay covers it, we do see the Aerie on the Lily. It's been a while since I cast it. Everything's just like, I'm forgetting everything's name.
We got Aerie Rise for a bit of more lane pressure. We got Aerie Lulu. Again, I think that's completely fine now. Guardian kept getting nerfed, and the other bits and pieces kept getting nerfed.
Other bits and pieces.
The other bits and pieces of the general's old enchanter build, where you went Guardian, you took the minion killing support item, and you just kind of sat there killing minions. We see an invade actually coming out from Art of Chase here.
Ooh. You got into the game a little bit quicker than I do.
They just get a ward down into the enemy red. Vivi decides to put her ward down. I'm just gonna call Vivi a her.
Yep, so we just see AOC just looping around its blue buff. Oh, sorry, of course, yeah. You said invade, so I'm just like, my brain's like, oh yeah, looping around the blue, this is not that blue. It is, of course, this. Yeah, so did get the ward on the red. Apart from that, fairly standard starts coming out from both sides.
So Aerie Rise signals he's probably going to do a lot more of a lot more lane pressure is what he's going to look for. So have to see how that goes.
Yeah, I don't expect to see too much in this mid lane. Ioriaa going with phase rush does give her that extra mobility. Just makes that lane phase a little bit easier for her, especially with an Olaf in the jungle. It means that her ability to kite away from that if Glory does decide to come in on that Olaf is just so much easier.
So we haven't really talked about this bot lane, but the bot lane's heavily in favour of the Caitlyn Lux. They should absolutely poke the hell out of Jinx and Lulu. This should be a very hard lane for them to play. I'm not sure I like how far back Fosho is sitting and just sort of hitting the wave.
Yep, just yeah, they those stacks from this one, but we do see Vivi going very aggressive and the root coming out onto Nasty Fox, cleanse and flash being forced. Very aggressive level 2 play coming out from Nasty.
Just trying to keep the pressure up during the early game, but yeah, when you're level 1 and the enemy's level 2, that's very risky.
With that binding landing alongside Vivi's Q, Nasty's looking in a dangerous spot. I'll be surprised to see him stay, actually.
I just want to point out to the fact that the Jarvan's actually gone round the back of Olaf into the jungle, taken out with his Krugs.
I don't know, that's Glory actually invading in, coming in this mid lane, took the Wraiths, but Horns is already under his tower. Very, very safe.
Did leave one Wraith, we'll see if Casa doesn't seem to pick up on that. There could be a fight over this scuttle. Olaf will, of course, win early.
Yep. So we're saying Cass is actually already
This
looking at
can-
250 health.
Jaeger's
there to
walking
follow,
down, but he's
both
very
of them are
low.
Buffalo Goose
They
in the top
do
lane.
not want to fight this. The
They're
Rise
not
is
in a
on his
position
way
to
as well.
contest this. They're in a
looking
3v2.
like they're gonna fight.
Yeah, they're deciding to back out of this. Glory be will
That's
catch
gonna
them
be
with
a
the
fight.
Axe Toss, but they are looking pretty safe for the rest of this. Honestly, even in the 3v2, I don't think I would have given that to AOC. Because...
No, Olaf's power early is extremely strong.
Especially as both has... Ooh, the root landing. Flash gun from Buffalo Goose. Very, very low.
Not quite
Won't
enough.
quite finish off that on that Jarvan. Side note, Nasty Fox is
Nasty.
still in the spot lane. One auto attack. or
Oh,
one
but
hit in the queue.
confirmed
He's dead.
manages to get the heal.
It just feels like a reset would have been a little bit of a safer idea.
Here we see the power of Airy Rise. He EQs the wave, hits you as well. That's a lot of damage.
See what the Cass has got to be doing now, as he's going to be losing the double scuttle. He's got to be looking for the bot lane to help out the Jinx, so he's going to have to look for the mid lane to help out the Ioriaa.
Yep, I would be. I would like to see Casa abuse the amount of early power J4 has, especially now knowing that Buffalo Goose #2 does not have his flash. One flag and drag, granted if Horns has some mana, would actually probably result in a kill. Early game damage from the Ioriaa is probably enough. There's some heavy trades going
Trade
on
in
top
top
lane.
lane.
Jaeger will be getting away at 150 health.
So the Jinx reset, she was hanging around trying long enough to get a Doran's Blade and a Control Ward, which I assume will be put behind them to check for potential tower dives. But yeah, you really need the extra sort of laning power.
And we do see TP being used by Horns to get back to that mid lane. First dragon is a mountain. It's not your favourite, Gavin, I'm sorry. No ocean dragons.
Early Mountain is extremely good as well.
I mean, yeah,
On
can't
s-
complain
yeah.
about early mountain.
On the side of Art of Chase is a very strong sort of buff first dragon, especially when you got the Jarvan and the Urgot.
I wouldn't
Yep,
be
and-
surprised to see them try and sneak this or get a bot lane gank off to take.
Yeah, actually, do you see the root landing on confirmed? Will so let's get the flash into the flag dragon and the double knockup flash coming out from Vivi. Will be safe under a tower.
See.
No kills landing.
Yeah, Chompers used a bit early by Jinx there. Don't manage to lock either of the enemy down. I see Jarvan's just starting up Dragon.
Yep. And so we'll be starting that dragon up. Horns is there ready. But actually,
That's a
we'll
level
get a decent amount of
4
damage
Olaf.
on to Glory. The shockwave coming out, forcing that
There's
stand
the
united.
Shen ultimate.
Now rooted, Kazuna will be taunted and first blood will land, going over to Buffalo Goose #2, Horns forced to flash away. Very nicely
Small
turned around by hit or miss. I don't think we're finished.
Yeah.
Glory's actually going for this bottom lane, confirmed, and Nice Fox are a little bit far forward. The Chompers will be used to push
Disengage.
them away, but Nice Fox actually stepping forward, trying to get a bit of damage
Nice
on
dodge to the
here.
side.
But it's looking like he's going to fizzle out into nothing.
Well, then, this
Oh,
whole
Chase.
time, Jaeger's just pushed in the top waves, getting a free plate and denying a lot of CS.
Yep.
See, the Art of Chase in teamfights have to be very careful, especially with the Shen's got on teleport and also his ultimate, which can global. On the other side, where Jaeger's just got ignite.
Yeah,
As
I
an
don't
Urgot.
think they were expecting that Stand United to come out already.
I'm not sure how much I like the Ignite. I think if you're going to take an extra spell there, you take Ghost or you take Cleanse, specifically to get out of Shen's taunt when you're ganked. I wouldn't expect you to be killing Shen, really, so I don't think Ignite's the right choice to take.
Took the words right out of my mouth, it doesn't feel like killing, but as we said that, the Ignite does come out on Buffalo Goose. Jaeger does land the ultimate.
You know what? I was wrong. Whatever, he got the kill.
It's immediately returned with those axe tosses onto Casa. Glory will be in his own jungle, or in Casa's jungle. Let's just finish him off. So, maybe we're wrong about the Ignite. Maybe Jaeger is confident in that Urgot play into Shen. And he's looking to play this as a kill lane.
See Glory starting up the Dragon. Confirms in a bit of an awkward spot here.
Yep,
Not going to go
confirmed.
check it.
Has no vision on it. But If he walks up, we'll get caught by that root. Actually, root now is down.
That
He'll
might be a
force
deadlock.
for sure. But Vivi will be there forward to just push them away.
Yeah, I'm not sure the poly on the Lux there was the correct decision. She had no mana left, and you should know she doesn't have flash. So speeding up your Jinx is a lot more useful than slowing down the Lux.
Actually, Glory stopped Horn's recall with that Axe toss. Horn's now looking
Horns is dead here.
A little bit in a sticky situation. Does dodge Jan's
Nice
toss,
dodge
but
to the
with
side,
root,
but that's actually a dead Olaf. He tanked the tower too long.
But it's the execute. As Casa couldn't get there in time. Unlucky for the side of AOC. Will be losing out on that kill gold. Although I don't think Buffalo Goose will be able to get too much in the means of plating here. We do have Casa is around this mid lane. Ready to get up. Okay, so we're hitting about the 10-minute mark. And it's already 2k deficit for the side of AOC. How would you want to see them play out the next 5 or 10 minutes to make sure this doesn't get any bigger?
You're okay if it gets bigger, honestly. You want to be looking to not be probably maybe 5k behind by the time you hit 15 minutes. Like, you expect to be behind because of your team comp that you've drafted, and you're okay with being slightly behind going into the later game. You just need to try and keep it at this amount. Don't go for the very risky plays. Try and actually track where Olaf is so he can't get much done. And yeah, keep farming up until you get your Jinx on at least her IE, and you'll get your Orianna her Ludens.
Yeah, but Horn's obviously going for that Luden's pick over the Seraphs this time. I would actually probably like to see a Seraphs, just for the sake of how the rest of the team is drafted. But both are fine to pick.
I would say with the jungle of Casa at the moment, like in the last fight, he knows...
Actually, Casa going out, that Cataclysm was catching for show out. Blowing him up, sorry to interrupt you.
That's alright, no, that's actually a pretty good idea for Casa to do, because he knows that he's actually a level behind the Olaf already from the last fight they went engaged. And Olaf at the moment has the dragon advantage due to the vision placed and also the bot lane difference before and the mid lane difference. So Casa does need to look to try and get some sort of fight on the other side.
This is another kill top.
Another ignite coming out. Jaeger really abusing his power here. And he's out the previous run, but we're not finished as we do see confirmed and Casa coming in this mid lane. The ult cancelled by Casa with the flag and drag.
An awkward ult from Horns, just still on her own tower, but they still get the kill. We'll pretend we didn't see that one.
Yes.
But we definitely did.
An unfortunate ultimate by Horns, but it worked out in the end.
That's the insult. The bad man is ultimate. We don't even need this ultimate up, so I'm just going to use it on my own tower.
But
Horns though overstays.
Horns staying a little bit too long. Glory will be there, popping that Ragnarok. Probably didn't quite need it, but we'll just mow Horns down.
Yeah, I think Horns should have run down there.
If he ran down,
he never make it past.
Yeah. Horns had flash up in like 5 seconds, so you could have actually done a good outplay to get down to the bot lane and get saved by the Jarvan.
Would have been close. We do see Casa is hovering around this bottom side. Does have the Herald.
They should know.
They know he's there, but Glory actually in this top lane. Yeah, goes out fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
we could see a tower dive here.
All ultimates are actually Catacombs is not quite back up again. Herald will be dropped. TP actually, of course, it's going mid.
Horns TP's onto a minion, which loses
a lot of damage
the majority of their health.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of playing gold going over to the side of AOC. Won't quite finish the tower here. Yeah, didn't quite have the wave, and of course both Lux and
give it half damage.
Clear. Damage comes out. Cleanse actually forced by Nasty Fox. This is really not panning out the way I was expecting it to.
CAC have closed the gold gap a little to 1,000 gold if they can keep it around here. They are
actually
very
landing
good.
Into Glory here.
Nasty's not kiting. Oh, gets pulled back in.
Keep Nasty Fox alive. Flashing towards Buffalo
Gets
Goose
the kill.
but he's on his own. And now we see Fisher is up here with the root. Does land it onto Casa. Will be forced to flash away back into the safety of the rest of his team.
Almost a disaster.
Shockwave landing onto VV.
Very nice shockwave,
Doesn't
but
quite
just
have the damage to finish it off.
not ready to follow up, and Nasty's not ulting. I I think that was the perfect time to ult.
Yep, I think
Nasty would know that. I think Nasty knew that the Caitlyn still had to heal up at that point. So if the ultimate came out, that wouldn't have actually killed any of them because of the heal on the Caitlyn.
Yep. Someone in chat did say they'd never rift a tier 1 tower. The point when the plates are up, because I assume it's a joke, but just in case it's not. The point when the plates are up is you can use it on the plates and you'll get more than a kill's worth of gold from one herald always, just having it hit into the tower.
Yep, and gold
And it
is
doesn't
really
last.
what AOC need. They've actually evened out that 2k gold deficit we talked about just 5 minutes ago. And it's just 100 in between them now. As our next dragon's coming up, it's an Infernal. And actually we do see confirmed recalling.
They might choose to give up this Drake. I think that's fine. You can give up second Drake. You don't really need it.
Yep, they're choosing to give it up, going for the quad soul. Whichever soul we get, either Cloud or Ocean. Jin Soul does try and steal it, but no, we'll be getting a Cloud Soul.
That is very good on the side of hit or miss, especially with the Ragnarok and also Shen's ultimate.
Yes.
Yep, the Stand United and the Ragnarok are huge parts to help Mrs. fights. So having those off cooldown as much as possible is always beneficial to them. Do you see a possible 3v3 skirmish? Looks like it's going to be happening in this topside river as we group around this herald. Mid lanes are hovering in the top side, but it does look like it's going to fizzle out into not a whole lot. And of course, as put out in my chat, I can't forget about the 10-second Lux ultimate cooldown, though I think you need 3 clouds to get it down to 10. But yes, can't forget about the lasers.
You can see this poke in the bot lane is really obnoxious now when Lux doesn't have to worry too much about the mana and Caitlyn can just sort of start throwing random auto attacks.
Yep, it's just a high pressure lane, and I'm glad I'm not Nasty Fox or confirmed right now because I just wouldn't want to play into that. Surprisingly, both Rangers still hovering around this herald. Does get started by Glory, but is going to back away from that quite quickly. They're both hovering around. I don't think they know who wants this fight. I don't think either of them want it, but they both want the herald enough to sort of hover and contest for it. I think
so
that's
the
most
most
to be in.
This herald probably won't get you much. None of the first tier towers are gone yet.
But actually, Glory looking to finish it. Cass gonna get Brain. Cass will get taunted by Buffalo Goose and finished off there. The Rise ultimate coming
There's
out
the
to
Rise
catch out
ultimate.
Jaeger Bomb. So will land, but he's looking
Gonna go for
actually
the
rooted
tower.
under
They
his
go for the tower
tower
dive.
into the taunt, forced to flash away, but
flash
it's not
out.
enough. The damage.
He gets
that
one.
Hit or miss
He almost
put
gets
out.
2.
Mark
Okay,
does
so
well.
a lot of stuff happened. I don't think it was really worth contesting that Rift Herald for starters. None of the outer towers are down. The most you get from it really is an outer tower. Is that what you want? Great, like
Yeah.
you're contesting to get Rift Herald to take an outer tower. Yeah, probably not worth it.
Caitlyn and Lux also got the outer tower at the bot lane, but also was very close to getting a kill on the
Actually,
Lulu. as
flashing from
Caitlyn-
Buffalo Goose to try and finish a full finish him there. Horns
Caitlyn
not
also
respecting.
ulted the Lulu, and the Lulu got away with like 50 HP early, in the bot lane.
Yep. So yeah, when first tower's already gone, I don't think there's any point of Arthur Chase contesting that Rift Herald really. Like, you don't get much if you get it. They don't get much for getting it.
But with no tower now in this bot lane, confirmed Nasty Fox to find himself in a 3v2. Kassa is in that river, ready to help. But it does look like it's going to fizzle out into not a whole lot. So yeah, down 2 towers now. Arthur Chase, that gold deficit is starting to build up once again. This game does feel like it's sort of beginning to snowball out of control. It does feel like the Hit or Miss are starting to realise they've got the lead, and as you saw, in the group around bot lane, they were trying to pressure it and start to, you know, punish AOC for stepping too far forward.
We talk about the CS difference bot side and mid. Bot side, 60, yeah, that's about expected. When you're playing into Caitlyn Lux as a Jinx Lulu, I think you're just happy that you've got CS at all at that point. In terms of mid lane, it's a bit more awkward, but you're going to be shoved in all the time, so I'd expect there to be a slight deficit. It's
But
worth
not
noting Horns.
30. It's
Horns
Plus
hasn't
with the
played much
items
mid,
that-
so
Ryze having the items of Archangel Staff and also Rod of Ages allows him just to use and spam his abilities on the waves.
yeah,
Just
pushes
allowing
it straight
Ioriaa-
in.
Yeah. Like, the
Ooh, Lux is out of
144
position
CS.
here.
Does dodge the zap.
Manages to
But
catch the
Nuzlocke
Lulu,
will
but
be
she'll
doing
just
a
get
decent
run
amount of
down.
damage, but she'll be okay. Just about okay. Does it? Kassa is looking for a pick onto Vivi. Vivi being psychic, knowing what's going on already.
At this point, the Jinx is actually getting quite strong, especially with the 2 kills. Probably looking towards the IE soon. And the
So, yeah.
being very comfortable in a 2v1, especially getting dove at 3-on-1 and nearly getting 2 kills out of it without ultimate. He's kind of comfortable. So it's not a huge difference, even though there's 2k difference between the teams. It's not a huge difference in the
But
team.
Buffalo Goose actually getting caught out here. The Stand United will be brought out. Kassa
Well,
actually
this
being
one-
forced to flash away, confirmed. Also using that heal to keep him safe.
Yeah, they engaged there without any of their team's damage onto a Ryze. The Ryze who has a rower as well. It's kind of interesting.
Yep, Buffalo Goose 2 hitting that point where it's difficult to kill. And actually see both teams hovering around this bottom side jungle. You see a flash, force, and cleanse by Nasty Fox just as the camera flipped us away there. But yeah, I think
Vivi
they're
at the
looking to
flash.
pressure down this tower, possibly using that Herald. Now we see Dragon number 3 started by Glory. Actually,
So-
Flying Drag coming out, the Shockwave will
Ooh.
be flashed by Glory. But that is Dragon number 1 going over to AOC. Glory using that Blast Plant to get back over the wall. Will pick up that kill onto
Ooh.
Confirm, but it's still going. And we hope to have Vivi
This
get
is a really
finishing
bad fight
off
for Art of Chase.
Kassa and Jaegerbomb. With Buffalo Goose 2
Hey.
on the side there. AOC falling from all sides.
Yep.
I feel very rusty.
People are laughing about the area on Ryze. It provides you a lot more poke, especially early game. What just happened? There was a contest for the Drake. There's the difference between having your ADC there versus not having your ADC there. When your only
Yes.
damage is really your burst from Ioriaa, you're not going to win the extended fight at all, especially when
that Shockwave
Olaf,
didn't connect.
especially when Olaf is just life stealing.
Yeah, so Nasty Fox wasn't in that fight, and I feel like AOC really felt it. But also, it kind of felt like AOC, there was 2 deaths in that Dragon Pit, and then 2 deaths sort of, it kind of felt like they were dying one by one because they were not positioned all too great. But yeah, I don't think Nasty Fox being there would have changed a whole lot without some different positioning. But they do skip back the Dragon, not the Baron, the Dragon.
Yep. So that's extended their timer a little bit. Was it worth it for so many kills? Debatable. It depends what can get done here. Unfortunately, your Jinx is now sitting on IE with a crit cloak when the enemy Caitlyn's got her first 2 items. She has gone for the slightly weaker item build, where you build Infinity Edge into Runans. A lot of people are going Infinity Edge
Storm
into
Razors,
Storm
right?
Razors
Yeah.
right now because it smooths out that build path a little bit. It means your 2-item spike
Oh,
and your
I'm actually getting chunked out by Glory. Will be forcing that Wild Growth onto himself, and Cassie using that Cataclysm to lock Glory down. The ultimate's coming out from both bot lane of Hit or Miss. Will not be enough to finish them off, but Buffalo Goose will be there with that taunt on the other side. With both jungle and support down for AOC, it's looking like Baron started by Hit or Miss.
I'm not too sure what they were really doing in the jungle there, but they get punished for it. We might see an attempted steal from Horns here. Ioriaa ult is very good at stealing.
We'll actually get
Taunt
taunted by
comes out,
Buffalo
though.
Goose.
And there we
lot of damage
go.
coming out. The Shockwave will not
Not
steal
quite
it.
enough.
And that'd be Baron going over to Hit or Miss, and Horns getting away just... Buffalo Goose was forced to flash over that wall to get away too. In the meantime, we did see Buffalo Goose number 2 pushing out Nasty Fox, holding him in that bot lane, making sure that he couldn't contest at all. Got a little bit of damage onto the tower, but nothing too crazy. And Buffalo Goose 2 also
So
doing
they're
quite well
going
in
for this
mid lane. I would say
attempted
a little
kill
bit,
on
but
Buffalo.
actually amount of damage he's putting out onto Eagle and confirmed will keep him alive. The Stand United shields coming out, keeping him healthy.
With the Lux shield. And yeah.
Looking like everyone's going to get away happy with that. Some of these skirmishes feel a little bit uncoordinated, is I think the word I'm looking for. A little bit not quite planned.
Not quite planned. You are going for 2v1s, but you're going for it against the strongest members of the enemy team.
We do see that top tower falling. The engage, actually, the shockwave coming out, but it's not enough. Buffalo Goose and Buffalo Goose 2 feel almost invincible at this point as they pressure down this mid tower.
Yeah, you're in a massive damage trough on the side of AOC right now. You need your Jinx to finish her Runans before she's really going to start doing any sort of real damage.
Lightning does land. Horns will be getting away safe.
It's very interesting that Archer's actually gone for a team build, a team like comp that is very much strongly created around a 5v5 fight.
And we haven't seen a 5v5.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a 5v5.
24 minutes of game, not even there.
The base is just crumbling apart. Buffalo Goose 2 will just pick off confirmed with that brute. And this is Nexus Towers falling, and it feels like Archers can't touch them. A huge amount of damage coming out to Jaegerbomb there. Headshots from
crit headshot. You can see Nasty just doesn't do any damage.
That's actually going in with that flag and drag, but he's just getting melted. Buffalo Goose sitting about 200 health. And the flash from BBK will not finish off Nasty as he flashes in return. First Nexus Tower's falling. I don't think there's a whole lot Ye can do here. Possibly pick up a kill onto Buffalo Goose, but he could base and he could TP straight back in. But that is going to be the Nexus going down. Game 1 going over to hit or miss.
Yep. And you're sort of fell too far behind and Rice got too far ahead in the early game there. Your Jinx never got to a 2-item power spike. So, yeah. Not too much you can really do about that.
But even with the
it's not
the
a best
Caitlyn,
of 3. It's 2 games.
even with Caitlyn going the different build and not going the Storm Rays on the second item, the gold difference between her and the Jinx was insane. Like 2.5k difference.
And just having a look at that damage chart. 23,000 damage on the Rise.
Yep. I mean, if you want to give MVPs out for this game, I think it's sort of obvious who it goes to. On the side of hit or miss.
Yes, I think Ida is quite safely onto Buffalo Goose number 2. How about Art of Chase? Our MVPs whilst we get ourselves into game 2 and our camera screen back up because I'm going to remember to use it.
Art of Chase, I think I'd give it to Jaeger. I was surprised at how well he was actually managing to trade with the Shen. I don't think he should have been able to trade that well, but he was managing to actually outdamage him and getting a few 1v1 kills.
Yeah, 2 soda kills to land onto that Shen.
Yeah.
There you go. Both got the codes.
Lux out damaging Kate. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised really.
Yeah, there was in that lane phase 4 hit or miss. It was basically just Lux throwing out constant, bindings and those E's, just getting out as much damage as she possibly could, just to keep that pressure on to Archase's bot lane. But yeah. Any debates on that MVP? Do you think it just goes over to Jaeger for having that strong solo performance?
Yeah, Nasty still fell very far behind in lane, although managing to pick up the 2 kills from the ganks. Didn't really manage to get too much done apart from that. Team fight wise, didn't really manage to get much done. Unfortunately, it's just a game where the Jinx couldn't get online.
Yeah,
she run over before.
I think only finished 1 item that game. Just had the IE and was halfway.
1.5 items.
2, yeah. So just unfortunate for our Chase, but they do have a second game to.
A young, long-haired Bjergsen. I'll take that.
A second game to come back.
Wait,
just quickly change your name to young, long-haired Bjergsen.
How old is Bjergsen?
I think he's like 20. I want to say 27. He's playing League a while because he was in season 3, wasn't he?
Oh, it's fine. He's like 2 months older than me.
Yeah, so you're a
2 months,
younger
yeah.
Bjergsen.
Slightly younger, exactly.
27. How old is he? I actually
He's
don't know how old you
24.
are. 24. Oh damn, so he came in quite young. Because I know he's been playing League competitively for 7 years.
Yeah.
24. We got very off topic here. But we are just waiting for
That happens.
one member of AOC to come into the lobby, and then we'll be ready to go.
Yep.
Getting back to the games, is there anything that you want to see AOC do this game to make sure they don't have a repeat of last game?
Maybe just focus all your bans on the mid lane. Like, at this point, you could ban out Renekton from top, but it will just pick Shen again. And do you want to ban the Renekton Shen? Try and get a better matchup.
I feel also just matching the top lane, going into a Shen as an Urgot, using the displacement before Shen even uses his W, and going into Ignite when Shen has a teleport and an ultimate. You can't follow the Shen, you can't do anything with the team without it being so obvious.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I would just ban out a ton of mid laners that you don't want to play into, and try and hope that he doesn't get so far ahead again. Maybe later game scaling mid laners. Try and draft a bit more early so you have that early power in case they do start to get ahead again.
Yes.
But hard game.
Just having those early checks come up. Is there anything that maybe you're expecting to see banned from last game?
The Rise?
The Rise, I think, is an obvious one. If you're not ready to play into it, just ban it. I don't think the Lux looked particularly good in support, so I think you're fine leaving that up. Especially if you actually wait to pick your support pick this time. Just pick.
So, yeah, from the last game, I think the Rise and the Caitlyn's going to be banned.
Yep, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I think Rise is almost definitely got to go on that list. We talked about this before, how Buffalo Goes 2, it's hard to scout because it definitely looks like an alt account. But here we go, into Champ Select. You can now stop looking at our faces.